With his newly acquired army of colossal shadows at his command, Sung Jin-Woo unleashes his full might. Purple energy erupts around him as he bellows the single, absolute order to his new soldiers. Charge! Beru releases his signature guttural, grinding groan, his eyes glowing with loyalty to its new master. The battlefield erupts into absolute chaos. Jin-Woo's shadow army, a swarming tide of darkness, crashes against the remaining enemy giants. With sharp, piercing sounds, his soldiers tear into their former brethren, a storm of purple energy overwhelming the colossal beasts. The shadow army descends upon the city, a tide of pure destruction aimed at the colossal invaders. But the enemy commander, the giant sovereign, is a force of nature unto itself. With a single swing of its massive blade, it unleashes an earth-shattering shockwave, meeting Jin-Woo's army head-on. Jin-Woo watches the clash, his eyes glowing with purple intensity. He can feel the sheer power radiating from his opponent. The shadows spread like a plague, a tide of crimson and purple that threatens to consume everything. From the epicenter of that power, the sovereign emerges, its red eyes burning with absolute malice. The air itself crackles under the weight of its presence. The giant sovereign is a being of overwhelming might. Jin-Woo's eyes narrow. The power flowing from the sovereign is on a completely different level from the other giants. And in that instant, a decisive blow lands. A massive impact rocks the battlefield, and a piercing scream of agony tears through the air. The giant unleashes a flurry of crushing blows, each one landing with the force of a collapsing building. The giant opens a path in the shadow army and charges. Jin-Woo observes the enemy commander, the colossal sovereign of the giants. Its power is undeniable. As his own forces clash with it, Jin-Woo realizes the truth. This thing is on another level entirely. It possesses incredible strength, capable of killing 100 with just a single swing. This humongous creature radiated such a heinous magic power that for a fleeting moment, even Sung Jin-Woo felt the primal urge to run. The aura it gave off was just unpleasant. How could a being with such vile, overwhelming energy even exist? In the face of such a foe, there are only two options. The first is to run away from the source of that terror and try to forget about it, or completely and utterly eradicate it. The sovereign's red eyes flare, its power reaching a fever pitch. One of Jin-Woo's shadows lunges forward, a savage grin plastered on its face as it goes for the kill. But the sovereign meets the attack with a single, cataclysmic punch. The impact is so immense it feels like the world itself is cracking apart. The raw power of the sovereign surges, completely eliminating the soldier. Beru's seemingly endless swarm of ant shadows crawls over the sovereign's feet, a tide of tiny blades attempting to overwhelm the giant through sheer numbers. The sovereign simply stomps, unleashing a shockwave that vaporizes a portion of the swarm in an instant. But Beru is relentless, letting out a piercing shriek as he commands his soldiers to press the attack again and again. Jin-Woo extends his hand, standing atop a cliff with his strongest generals. Jin-Woo watches the battle unfold. He holds them back, his voice echoing with quiet authority. Not yet. He calmly assesses the situation. He had already expected this level of power. He thinks to himself, I have enough mana. I have to keep pushing until I find its weakness. Blow after devastating blow rains down, each one capable of leveling a city block. Jin-Woo pushes through the onslaught, his eyes glowing, his focus absolute. He's taking the hits, testing the limits of his own defense and the sovereign's offense. His mana bar is draining, but slowly. The battle is a brutal war of attrition, with his shadows clashing against the sovereign in a symphony of destruction. His colossal shadow giants trade blows with their former master, the impacts shaking the very foundations of the city. Jin-Woo's eyes glow with sudden insight. Its magic power is wrapped around it like armor, which is why it's not defending. It's that confident. But a memory flashes in his mind. A single, crucial detail. It blocked an attack. Just once. It wasn't confident. It was a bluff. The armor had a weakness. With a new strategy in mind, Jin-Woo summons his fastest shadow, Kaisel. The plan has changed. No more testing the waters. He stands before his ground forces, his voice a clear command that cuts through the chaos. Let's go! The shadows surge forward as one, a unified wave of darkness and fury aimed directly at the sovereign. Beru becomes a blur of motion, a streak of purple energy as he charges the giant head-on. Kaisel soars through the sky, a majestic and terrifying silhouette of immense power, carrying his master towards the colossal foe. Igris joins in. He lands another swift, slashing attack, which the giant manages to evade. The Sovereign is forced to defend, its body battered by the relentless, all-out assault from every direction. Jin-Woo's eyes narrow, his focus absolute. He's found his opening. There! The giant directs a powerful, high-speed energy slash towards Jin-Woo, a brilliant blue arc of destruction that cuts through the air with a piercing sound. The attack tears through Kaisel. The giant's eyes widen, glowing with rage. Igris presses his advantage. A high-speed dance of death unfolds. The air itself seems to explode with the force of the attack. He lands a torrent of destructive force. The energy clash is immense, a blinding explosion of power. The shockwave is deafening, a catastrophic rumble that announces the turning of the tide. From within the blinding light, Jin-Woo emerges. The Sovereign lets out a desperate, furious roar, but Jin-Woo is already on him, a blur of purple light dodging the attack with impossible speed. A smirk plays on Jin-Woo's lips, his eyes glowing with triumphant light. As expected, he had baited the attack, forcing the Sovereign to overextend. His shadows move in perfect sync, a flurry of attacks that further break down the giant's defenses. Jin-Woo channels an entirely new level of power. Purple lightning erupts from his body as he activates Ruler's authority. The Sovereign is caught in the storm, struck by a bolt of divine lightning. Watching from the ground, Yujinho and Hanakawa can only stare in awe. It's no longer a fight between hunters and monsters now. Hanakawa finishes the thought, her voice trembling. It's more like a fight between monsters and monsters. Seeing his master engulfed in that terrifying power, Yujinho smirks. Hyungnim! The giant screams, his body cracking under the immense strain of the ruler's authority. Jin-Woo stands resolute amidst the storm, his iconic daggers floating around him, his own power reaching its absolute peak. His eyes flare with purple light. He calls out the name of his next attack, Violent Slash. He becomes a whirlwind of destruction, a storm of slashes so fast they seem to strike from every direction at once. The Sovereign can only roar in agony as it's torn apart by the relentless assault. Jin-Woo pushes past his limits, screaming in exertion as he calls for his strongest soldier. Beru! From the shadows, Beru emerges, his loyalty absolute. Your wish is my command. He launches an impactful blow into the giant's damaged eye. The system messages flash one after another. You used Violent Slash. You used Violent Slash. Again and again, he unleashes the attack, a furious storm of purple blades that leaves no room for escape. Beru, now inside the giant's body, becomes the spearhead of the final charge. The giant can only growl in defiance as it stares down its own demise, its crimson eye meeting the victorious gaze of the Shadow Monarch. With a final, deafening rumble, the battle ends. The Age of Giants is over.